Hey team, okay, I'm going to hopefully quickly make this video for you. I just feel like it's really important, and so I hope that you're watching this. I want to talk to you guys today about time management and really creating a sense of urgency, and that's not just for doing the day-to-day things, but also setting goals for yourself and really putting a time limit on them. So I want to say that I'm coming from a place in this where I am not an organized person. If you know me personally, you know that to be true. My personality is just kind of whatever and kind of go with the flow. I happen to be married to a very structured person. If you've taken your personality test, the GEMS test, which if you haven't, please, please, please talk to your upline coach. If that's me, let me know and I will send that to you. It's really important, you guys, to make sure that you are understanding yourself and that we are understanding other people and how to best communicate with them and how to best motivate them. So if you've taken your GEMS test, I am a Sapphire, which means that I love people, I love relationships, and I'm very much motivated by fun. So things that aren't fun to me are like lists, rules, structure, okay? But I'm married to an Emerald, and Emeralds are very, that their motivation comes from facts and figures, and so they love a good list, right? That like makes their day. So I've learned along the way how to be a little bit more structured. My husband would probably be like, are you sure? Are you sure you've been learning? But I have, okay? And so what I want to talk to you today is how to kind of fake yourself out, I guess is the good way to put it. So I want to talk to you about what is called, I believe it's called like the law of urgency or the law of time, which really just says that however much time you give yourself to complete a task, you will take all of that time to do it. So, for example, if I say, I'll just use like a non-Beachbody thing. If I say I'm going to take an hour to clean my house, okay? So in my head, I kind of know how fast I need to move in order to get things done in an hour. And so I will take that max amount of time. Even if let's say I was going to vacuum and clean a bathroom or whatever, I will take that amount of time. However, if I gave myself half that amount of time, if I said, okay, I only have 30 minutes and I'm going to get this done, and all of you moms with babies that nap or kids that go to, school or Mother's Day out for part of the day or whatever, like, okay, I only have this much amount of time. And so you push to get those things done in a shorter amount of time. The same thing goes with our business. If we just sit down and say, okay, I'm going to invite 5 people today, but we don't put a time limit on it or we don't have any structure to it, then we are going to take as much time as we are allowed. So if we have kind of all day to get that done, then, you're going to find yourself at the end of the day and maybe not even have, all of your invites out. For those of you that maybe have worked and now don't work or had kids at home and now don't have kids at home, you know this to be true. I know on Wednesdays I have, Luke goes to school every day. Harper is homeschooled, but she goes to classes on Wednesday. On Wednesdays, I only have one kid. I just have the baby, and the baby sleeps, right? And so you would think on Wednesdays I would get the most done, but on Wednesdays it's the hardest time for me to get structured because I have a lot of time, where the rest of the week I really have to make sure that I am managing my time according to everybody else's schedule. So I have to fit everything into like little mom cracks during the day. So what I want to encourage you to do is, instead of just saying, okay, I want to invite this many people or whatever, is to actually sit down and put your timer on. So you're going to create a sense of urgency. So if you would like to, let's say you want to invite, 5 people, then I want you to sit down and turn on your timer for like 25 minutes and push to get all of that done in that time. That way you're not just kind of like perusing on Facebook or looking around on Instagram or whatever it is, you are focused. And when all of those other thoughts come up in your head, because if you're like me, I have a ton of other thoughts going on, and I'm like, you know, a squirrel, like running around like, oh, I should do this. Oh, I should do this. And pretty soon I'm at the end of the day and I have 15 things that I've like kind of done. Okay. So instead of that happening, you are really focused, for that time, and everything is blocked out, and you say, okay, all I have is 25 minutes. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do this job right now. The other way that works is in our business, creating goals. If you give yourself a long time to create, you know, to either rank advance or something like that, you're going to take all that time because there's no sense of urgency there. I'll give you an example. I started in March of this year, and I was enrolled within that month. And then I, just not knowing much about the business and really what it took to get to other, you know, to rank advance and things, I kind of gave myself, I think I said, my goal was going to be to be diamond by the end of the year. So what is that, like 8 months? I was giving myself 8 months to get to diamond. Had that just been my goal, you know, I probably would have taken that, because mentally I would have thought, oh, I have all this time, you know, this is the goal that I've given myself, this is all my time. But instead I had Kristen come along and say, you don't need this much time. In fact, I want you to push to do this by the middle of May. And so because she set this timeline on me and she set this sense of urgency on me, I was able to push for this goal that I thought was going to take 8 months. It ended up taking less than 3 months. Okay, so I want you to put a time frame, and even if you don't hit it, that doesn't matter. The point is that you're pushing for something. So some of you are emeralds, and you've just been sitting at emerald for a really long time, and that's because you just don't have you're not putting a sense of urgency on yourself, or you've given yourself a goal that it's just too much time. You just don't need all that time. And what that does is it doesn't cause you to do or to feel like you need to do the really vital behaviors of, you know, rank advancing to diamond, let's say, which is simply consistently inviting to your team, you know, 3 to 5 people every single week, inviting to your team. If you are doing that consistently over time, you are not going to take, it's not going to take, you know, 8 months to get to diamond. It's just not. So you have to make sure that you're being consistent. You're putting a good time frame on it, and then you are really pushing for that. Okay? I feel like there was something else I was going to tell you, but I forget. So I want you to really start using those timers, start thinking about pushing yourself and goals that, you know, I would say this: if you are emeralds, then I would give you a goal. If you are working this business and you are trying to grow a business, that's what you are trying to do. This is different than if you're just, you know, kind of hobby wanting to get your Shakeology covered. That's different. If this is you working this business and you are a career coach, you're wanting to make an income, you know, out of this, then I would say from right now, look forward 3 months and say that you're going to be diamond in 3 months, and we will help you get there. I will make sure that I do all that I can do to help you reach that goal. Okay. Now, some of you, speaking about personalities, and then I'm going to cut this off because I was trying to give myself a 10-minute time limit. Some of you do not have a sense of urgency in your personality. For example, pearls. If you are a pearl, it can tend to, you know, you just don't have a sense of urgency. I said I was sapphire. I'm also part ruby. Rubies work under pressure. So I'm a total procrastinator. But when I have a day to finish something that I should have been doing a week, I will get it done. That's just how I work. I don't get overwhelmed with that. I function under that. And so pearls, sometimes you guys have a tendency to, because you don't have a sense of urgency, because you don't like pressure, you kind of want to retreat. Instead, you kind of want to feel overwhelmed. So what you kind of have to do is give yourself, you have to kind of create urgency for yourselves. And that is where the timer comes in. That's also doing things like, let's say you're going to work, you know, you're going to work at a coffee shop or whatever. So you need to go to that coffee shop with your computer. Don't take your plug, your charger, so that you have to get all your stuff done before your computer, you know, runs out of battery, something like that. So you kind of have to create those circumstances for yourself, so that you kind of feel that urgency, you know, yourself. So, okay, I want you to think about how you need to create urgency. In what ways have you been giving yourself too much time? The other thing is that that's really how this business will start to feel overwhelming to you, is if you are just allowing it to kind of just be up in the air. If you don't say, I'm going to do this in this amount of time on this day, then you're going to feel like you're constantly doing this job, because our job is on Facebook or on Instagram, and people can get a hold of you at all hours of the day. If you're letting that happen and you are reacting instead of being proactive and putting boundaries on yourself, right? So somebody messages you back, well, you don't have to message them back right then. You know, I like to set times and say, okay, I'm going to check email and messages in the morning, and then I'm going to check email and messages when the baby naps. And that's it. If somebody else messages me in between that, you know, a prospective challenger or something, if it's not a time that I can sit down and actually do something with them, then I just don't get back to them right there. I have to make sure that I'm focusing on other things too. So make sure that you are putting good boundaries on yourself. You know, you're setting time limits and you're saying, I'm only going to do this at this time and this time. That's okay. This job shouldn't take all of your time. Most of you, like me, got into this because you wanted some freedom in your life. If you're feeling consumed by it, that's obviously the opposite of what you did this for. So make sure that you are doing things that are getting you back to that freedom aspect. Okay. I'm also going to, I don't know if you guys saw these, but I have these focus sheets. These have been great. They're in the files. Check them out, you guys. It really keeps me organized. So, so yeah. Okay. Have a good day. Happy Monday. And I will talk to you guys soon. Okay. Bye.